Yes, folks, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Do please like and subscribe. And guess what we've got here? Yes, folks, it's wartime. We'll have another anti-war song at the end of this, but I'm going to first of all talk about a statement from HM Prison and Probation Service. They're saying today that the jails are 98.3% full and that the safe maximum is 95%. There are apparently 1,400 places available throughout the entire prison estate, and that it is on the verge of collapse. This is despite the fact that they have introduced reduced sentences so that people can get away with doing just 1/3 of their sentence. And Shabina Mahmood, the Justice Minister, is now proudly stating that if this continues, then the police, this is an exact statement from Shabina Mahmood, the police will no longer be able to carry out arrests. Well, you can imagine the joy that will bring to the criminal fraternity. They're going to be out there saying, well, lads, what can we do, eh? Already in the Greater Manchester area, they solved no burglaries in 2024. No burglaries. They don't solve any. Why? They don't know what they're bloody doing anymore. We go back to the 1960s, 1970s, even early 80s, when the police were the police, you know. And the way that they got their information was by the CID would go around the bars and buy the grasses, you know, the people, the informers, call them grasses, you know. But the police call them assets, yeah. And they would buy them a drink and just say, who did that? You know, come on, who's pulled that off? You know, and they get it on the QT. Nowadays, police are not allowed to have personal informants. They have to register them with a senior officer like an inspector, and the informants are kept registered. So you can imagine that the informants aren't there anymore. So, with the great result that nobody is getting arrested for burglaries anymore. And the police aren't even coming round. The police don't even bother. They give you a crime number. Well, we haven't got anybody available at the moment. They're all in McDonald's. I think Detective Sergeant such a body's just orders, Detective Sergeant Smith, he's just ordered himself a Big Mac. So when he's eaten that, I'll give him a shout. How about that then, eh? Something like that's happening. But Shabina Mahmood has received some good news, I suppose, from Rachel Reeves, she who took away all the elderly people's winter fuel allowance. Rachel Reeves, you know the one. She walks around like she's got a stick stuck right up her back. Yeah, he walks around like that. Aren't I important? Well, Rachel Reeves has allocated $7 billion to the building of more prisons, 3 new prisons, and there's going to be a total build of prisons to create 14,000 new prison places by the year 2031. So we're 6 years away from that. They're even building a massive new prison near where I live, near Chorley, at a place called Ulnes Walton, U-L-N-E-S, Walton, Ulnes Walton. Yeah, the villagers are up in arms because there's more prisoners in Ulnes Walton than there are actual residents. Do you know that? And where are they going to get the staff? Well, they're paying the staff virtual minimum wages. So what are they going to get? They're going to get some more hostesses in there, aren't they? And whip behind the ears kids who have never handled an angry man. We've been through all this many times before on here. If you're going to deal with villains and people who are violent, you've got to handle fire with fire. I'm absolutely certain that you cannot get away with mollycoddling them. And listen, I'm not a violent man, but I know that if you need to do it, then it has to be done. And you've got to be prepared to do it. Now, I know for a fact that these young ladies, they're recruiting young females at the age of 18, 19, giving them a big hat, a set of keys, and sending them behind on the landings, behind the walls. That's not going to work. You've seen it in the newspapers, see it virtually every week. I think there was 360 or something prison officers prosecuted in the last 12 months. It was unheard of when I was in. Unheard of. You know, very, very rarely did anything like that happen. And certainly the seasoned staff, you know, people who had actually done a few years, wouldn't tolerate the idea of being corrupted. Very few prison officers ever got themselves involved in that kind of nonsense. But nowadays, every time you open the newspaper, there it is. So we're going to get another 14,000 places for people who post up naughty naughties on social media. People make comments about, what do they call them? Grooming gangs. So there's going to be a national inquiry into the grooming gangs. That will take, 3, 4, 5, 6 years maybe. Plenty time. We'll have forgotten about it by then. That's what they think. Yeah. Meanwhile, if you've got a young daughter aged 13, 14, be very careful about letting her out on the streets at night. Because there's people actually kidnapping them, doping them up, lacing them with alcohol, feeding them drugs, and sharing them round the good old boys. Yeah, it's beyond belief what's happening at the moment. And the answer to all this, according to Shabina Mahmood, is 14,000 extra prison places. Yeah, each with its own mosque and its own synagogue and its own chapel and all that nonsense. I believe it's utter nonsense. I mean, I'm a spiritualist, yeah. I mean, you might laugh at that, you know, ho ho ho, what nonsense that is. But I don't believe in an invisible man in the sky. You know, I don't believe in somebody who gets on a white horse and sails off into the clouds. No, I believe that there is communication and life after death. That's the extent of my beliefs. And honestly, that won't do anybody any harm. Because spiritualism is a seriously pacifist movement. And one of the basic rules of spiritualism is, as you sow, so shall ye reap. In other words, if you are a bad bastard, then you've got to expect bad things to happen to you. The problem that we've got at the moment is that the bad bastards are in the prisons, 98.3% full, and nothing bad is happening to them. They've got Xboxes, they've got pool tables, they've got televisions, they've got radios, they've got 3 square meals a day. And their every need it's almost, I mean, I agree it's not a holiday camp because it can be extremely unpleasant and increasingly violent. But it isn't what it used to be, where if you decided that what you were going to do was buck the system, then what you got was what you asked for. In spades. Right, it's that time of day, folks. I sincerely hope you're enjoying these little videos. And do please like and subscribe. Yep, you've guessed it. It's the Song Dinger. Yep, and we've got another opinion here. Larry, of course. Larry, if you're out there. Yep. The goat, not the ghost. See ghosts in this house, I'm telling you, it's bloody haunted my house. Seriously. believe it or not. Anyway, it's that time of day, folks. I'm going to sing you an anti-war song now. Did you on yesterday, I believe it was, Masters of War, written by Bob Dylan. Not Dylan Thomas, by the way. I made that boo-boo at the end there. But there again, I'm only human. I don't pretend to be infallible. This is by Pete Seeger. Where have all the flowers gone? Are you ready? And listen, pay attention to what's happening with Israel and Iran, because Pakistan has just said any messing with Pakistan and they're joining Iran. Iran has just said that if there's any interference from Britain, Canada, France, the USA, then they're on the list. We're in the naughty corner, yeah? What are we going to do? Anyway, we've got that gallant leader, haven't we? Keir Two-Tier Starmer. This is Where Have All the Flowers Gone? Just one last warning, just in case. If you're hanging around now, well, you know what to expect. And do like and subscribe and leave me some comments. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing, where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago, where have all the flowers gone? Young girls, pick them, everyone. When will you ever learn? When will you ever learn? Where have all the young girls gone? Long time passing. Where have all the young girls gone? Long time ago. Where have all the young girls gone? Taken husbands, everyone. When will you ever learn? When will you ever learn? Where have all the young men gone? Long time passing. Where have all the young men gone? Long time ago. Where have all the young men gone? Gone to soldiers, everyone. When will you ever learn? When will you ever learn? Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the soldiers gone? Gone to graveyards, everyone. When will you ever learn? When will you ever learn? Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time passing. Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time ago. Where have all the graveyards gone? Gone to flowers, everyone. When will you ever learn? When will you ever learn? Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? Young girls, pick them, everyone. When will you ever learn? When will you ever learn? There you go. Where have all the flowers gone? That's what's going to happen, folks. Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton.